anytime you make a decision in business, people are going to split in kind of three camps. You're going to have people that are on the bandwagon, that are with you, they're going to ride with you no matter what. You got people on the second, they're going to jump off the train, but they're not going to go away. They're going to watch the train, see, what direction is it going, how fast, are they serving snacks? Like, what's happening? They're just going to watch and observe. And you got a third group of people that are, we're just going to go take another mode of transportation. And all three are great.
You are now listening to the Going North podcast with your host, author and speaker, Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, you're going to hear the voice of a different author share their stories, expertise, and their struggles that they had to overcome in life to leave you inspired to get more out of your life. Be sure to not only listen to this episode, but share with others, connect with the authors, and always advance others to advance yourself. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we're back at you again with the author, baby, a superstar author in the building. It's been a long time coming, baby. We've had millionaires, we have folks who've given TEDx talks, have folks who've given tons of keynote speeches, and this guy right here, he's on his way to all three, and he is amassed in a massive network that contains all those folks and more. And you're probably wondering who this wonderful person is. This guy is probably one of my role models in terms of being a speaker and being a young millennial who is trying to make good in this world, make it happen. It's the one, the only award-winning speaker, entrepreneur, consultant, as well as the senior principal consultant for the Black Speakers Network, Brian J. Olds. How are you today, sir?
Man, that is an introduction fitting of the good old Jim Ross from WWF back in the day, man. I am extremely honored to be on Going North podcast. And everybody knows that you and I go way back like car seats. And it is 100% a pleasure to have an opportunity to talk to the audience, man. So thank you.
Yeah, man, that's right. It's great to be on the podcast. Finally was able to capture you from your busy schedule for some time. Get to add another interview to your growing highlight reel.
Nah, man. Well, funny enough, you're on my list because it's I've watched you continue to grow this platform and impact so many people, man. So definitely looking forward to our conversation. In addition to that, I had to make myself worthy of being on the podcast, which is, we're talking all about authors. And so, with the launch of Speak Up, obviously, had some ebooks before, but now have something that is going in people's hands all around the world. Feels pretty great, man, which you're no stranger to. So certainly excited to be a part of the Bestselling Author Club right alongside with you.
That's right, baby. Best-selling, baby. Best-selling. That's what I'm talking about. And very, very few get that. I mean, it's like, folks, they may write a book, but if you don't get bestseller, then that's even a more exclusive club. And it's like, my man did it, baby. My man did it.
We did it. And I think, I would be remiss if we didn't. So we're actually in this book tour now, man, as you already know, and we're hitting multiple cities. Just came back from Norfolk, Virginia this past week. Going to be kicking off here in Baltimore in a few days, depending on when your listeners listen to this. That probably already happened. But basically, we're hitting the road, man. And we'll talk a little bit more about the book, but generally speaking, we have 32 co-authors on this project, all thought leaders, all established experts in their respective fields. And so, there's a lot to be said about the power of collaboration when you step into things like this, for sure.
Oh, yeah. My man, the collaborating scientist. My man, so much of a scientist, you started your own speakers network, and not only that, it's the Black Speakers Network. I find it funny. It's like no one thought of this, but you thought of it and you actually made it manifest, man. So what led to you just that thought and actually making it a reality?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Your question, to answer your question, is kind of embedded in your question itself. Because really, if you think about it, how many ideas do people have that they never execute? And I think it's probably incorrect to think that, oh, nobody thought about it. A lot of people probably thought about it, but few people executed on it. And so, generally speaking, man, for those that haven't met me, Brian Oles, or Dom, you introduced me, man. But I'm from Baltimore, grew up an introvert, so this public speaking thing definitely wasn't something that I would have been in high school voted most likely to pursue. I tell people all the time I was the guy that couldn't lead two people in silent prayer, let alone be selected as a keynote speaker to lead a group to anything. And so that's been an amazing journey over the past 12 years. If you have been sitting in a small classroom in 2006 at Morgan State University, you would have watched as I stood up and walked to the front of the room to deliver my very first speech in Toastmasters. And Dom, I know you're super familiar with Toastmasters. Obviously, have served as a leader in the organization, and you know, I've seen you transform into an incredible speaker. But for those that aren't familiar with Toastmasters, it's essentially an organization that helps you refine your presentation, public speaking skills in a safe, mutually supportive environment. And so, as I delivered my first speech at Morgan State University, where I eventually graduated, I immediately noticed that everyone in the room was clapping, and I thought it was a good sign. But then I realized, Dom, you probably noticed Toastmasters is a little bit like church. It's we kind of clap for everything. And so, if a person brings their manual to the meeting, or brings a sandwich or does anything, we kind of clap for them. But made me feel good at the time, and that was enough to push me on to give speech number two, and two turned into four turned into 10, which is first award level in Toastmasters, and then began speaking outside the club and doing my own thing. Eventually landed in corporate America, started off in finance, but then moved into professional development and training. And so, oftentimes people think that, companies just kind of form overnight, like they are, so you just have this idea, you go get your LLC, you got your business model, and then you're just out there. And sometimes that's the case. But I think oftentimes it's an iterative process. People have an idea, and then you put out something. It may not exactly be what you thought it was. And once you kind of pressure test it in the marketplace, you find out, well, whoa, I need to, there's actually a bigger opportunity over here, or I thought I was going to have this product, but I'm actually going to do this. So it's a process. And for me, Black Speakers Network, I've been hosting my own events since 2009. Dom, I think we met around this time. I had a organization called Skills, which is an acronym for sharing knowledge and information for lifelong success. And so, I realized through Toastmasters that I love speaking, but one of the things I recognized pretty early on is, as passionate as I am about speaking, I'm even more passionate, or as passionate, about helping aspiring speakers and current speakers connect with the audience that they're called to serve. So, looking around, I just didn't see a platform for speakers of color, specifically coming from an HBCU, wanted to do something to give a bigger platform and opportunity for Black speakers to be able to go after the incredible opportunity in this industry. And so that's really, in a nutshell, where the idea came from. And it's continued to grow from there. So I launched in 2016 formally, but the idea, the seed was planted over 12 years ago in that small classroom at Morgan State University in Toastmasters.
Oh, yes, indeed. Congrats on year number 3 of being official. The trifecta, baby.
Yes.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it is good, man. It is definitely good. And I'll tell you that all 3 years have been very different. Year number one was really still figuring out exactly what BSN is. And for those who aren't familiar, definitely would love to connect. But our mission is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. And so, that's a grandiose charter, but from an execution perspective, what does that actually look like? And so, the really year one was figuring out exactly, who we are. We kind of had a core group of folks here in Baltimore that we started to build with. And then I figured, okay, well, all 12 of these people kind of want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to just pick one thing and execute on it. And then everybody else can either get on board or go away. And that's exactly what happened. We had some folks, anytime you make a decision in business, people are going to split into kind of three camps. You're going to have people that are on the bandwagon, that are with you, they're going to ride with you no matter what. You got people on the second, they're going to jump off the train, but they're not going to go away. They're going to watch the train, see, what direction is it going, how fast, are they serving snacks? Like, what's happening? They're just going to watch and observe. And you got a third group of people that are, we're just going to go take another mode of transportation. And all three are great. And we had that when BSN. And so year one was really kind of self-identifying, figuring out where we sit within the marketplace. Year number two was building out our business model and monetizing, which we could talk more about, but basically trying to figure out like, hey, how do we best deliver value and how do we consistently generate revenue? And then year three, which is where we are now, is more solidifying our place within the market, hence the purpose for writing a book, as well as continuing to grow. So each 3 years, yes, trifecta, but each of those 3 years certainly had a very specific watermark in terms of where we were with the company and what we were focused on.
Amen to that, indeed. And it's great that you brought up the three different groups of folks because you're right. I mean, especially nowadays, it's like some folks they prefer to be lone wolves. Some folks work better when they collaborate, and those that just want to sit and watch and they just want to put out the lawn chair, be like, oh, that's a good old train going over there. Yeah, I
I
remember when
like
I was
that.
on that train. Yeah. And the lawn chair turns into a rocking chair.
Yep.
Oh man, it is the classic message to those who just want to start a business. It's not gonna be overnight. You said yourself the seeds of the idea was planned 12 years ago, and then 3 years ago it started. But there was a growth process that had to take place to get to where you currently are and where you're going to be going. So it's solid right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, part of that is, yes, it's a growth process, but I don't want people to mistake that, because I think the biggest thing that we fall into the trap of in business, and this is even, I know you may have listeners that, maybe not self-identify as an entrepreneur. Maybe, you just self-identify as, hey, I'm an author, I'm not really a speaker. I may not really be an entrepreneur. If you have a traditional 9-to-5 job, that's great. We have a lot of people now that have these kind of portfolio careers where you have no single job. You do coding, you're a musician, you paint, you do all these types of things. You just kind of make it work. And so I recognize that there are a lot of different models out there, but what I don't want people to kind of get in their mind is that, because you kind of have two camps of people too that think about as they're starting their business, and they're like, you hear some thought leaders out there saying, oh, well, it takes, you got to do 40,000 hours of work before you're even ready to make money or be successful. And that's they're kind of taking something that somebody said and twisting it a little bit, because it's not really what they said. They said, yeah, and really it's the 10,000 hours, but it's 10,000 hours to become an expert. And while a part of that may be true, it doesn't mean you got to put in 10,000 hours before you can make $10,000. Like, you can make money today. Like, if you decide today, like, hey, I want to create a product or service or offering, you could do that. My first product was a $5 downloadable PDF. And, we put a lot of emphasis on, becoming an author, which I am super excited about that process of, being a best-selling author, getting on Amazon, having like an author's page on Amazon where people click on you and see it. That's great. But I mean, the minute that you produce content, you're an author. You may not be a published author. You may not, show up on New York Times bestseller list. You may not walk in a bookstore and somebody buy you, but you're taking information out of your head and curating it and creating a product that people can watch, download, consume, educate themselves, improve their lives, you're an author. And so I was really an author many years ago when I did that first product, which was, again, $5 PDF download. It's called 51 Online Tools to Find Your Next Speaking Engagement. Dom, you're probably one of the first people that bought it. Like it wasn't anything like impressive. It was on a regular Word document. We updated the graphics later, but it was a $5 thing, and I made thousands of dollars off of that $5 product. So you don't have to wait till things are super polished and all this stuff. Like some people just need to get started.
Yeah, you're right about that, and I fully agree with that too. It's like you just got to ship out what you have. You got to learn to ship. Just ship what Steve Jobs and Guy Kawasaki like to say. Just like learn to ship, and I'm glad you did that too, because it was just the beginning of many other things. Because I think the next product was, I think it was a audio. It was about 90 minutes when you and Depot were going into 7 secrets of like being a
Yeah,
beginner.
yeah, yep, yep. Yeah, the exact title escapes me now, but yeah, we did that project, and that was I got my and the reason for that was we bought the podcasting mic, and I was like, man, what am I gonna do with this podcasting mic? And so called Depot up, called Samantha, and said, hey, let's create this audio download. And again, that was product number two. But same thing, like it wasn't perfect. You could probably go and listen to it now, and it was probably too long. It wasn't organized very well. You couldn't fast forward it. Like, it was all types of problems with that information product. But the reality is, I had a product while everybody else was still thinking about making a product. So it's this. You just gotta kind of iterate as you go.
Amen to that. So, any advice for those who are looking to just get a product out there? Because you seem to be like the master of just making just low cost products to actually get out there as proof to try to at least get some steam rolling in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is take the path of least resistance to get a minimum viable product, an MVP. Get so, and for you, that may be it could be a downloadable PDF, it could be a audio, it could be it could be consulting services. It may not even necessarily be a tangible, product or digital product, but just something that you can do two things. Number one, you can start to validate the assumptions that you have about your customers. So, for example, with BSN, I'm like, okay, I know for a fact that, there, now I know for a fact, I believe my hypothesis is that there are a large number of underserved speakers of color that are either current professional speakers or aspiring professional speakers that, given the option, would participate in a program that allows them to consistently get tools and resources that allow them to become better speakers over time. That's my hypothesis. How do we test that? Well, I'm putting out a small product. If people like it, then, or if I have a product to begin with, you know, people can give you all types of feedback, and most of the time it's fluff. You send it to your friend, send it to your cousin, and they're like, oh yeah, that's great, that's nice, it's so cool, like we like that idea, go for it. But the biggest test is what? When somebody whips out that credit card and they're like, yeah, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to show up to your
Oh,
event,
yeah.
I'm going to buy your book. I'm not going to buy it because I like you. I'm not going to buy it because you're my cousin. I'm not going to buy it because I owe you money from the 90s. I'm going to buy it because I need it. Like it's something solving a problem in my life. So I think that's the first step. It's like get a minimum viable product, something that's like that first product I talked about. I did that in one night. It was a Friday evening, came home from work. I was all frustrated and I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, I don't even have anything I could really like do. So I was like, I sat down at my computer with a Mountain Dew and started typing. And I didn't get up until it was like 3 a.m. And I remember hitting save and then uploaded it to we were using it wasn't Click, it was like a one click shopping portal, uploaded it to that, and then I sent the email out on Saturday. which like who sends like a marketing email on a Saturday? But I did it and I got my first few sales. And that to me, it started validating, but it also did another important thing, which was increase my confidence because I'm like, okay, people are buying this, and that means I'm on the right track. And then the third thing it does, it allows you to start getting feedback so that you can make your next product or your next service even better. And so that would be my advice. Start simple and basic and just get out of your own way. Put something out there that people can start to buy, see if they buy it. And if they do buy it, as quickly as you can, get feedback from those early folks so that you can make the next version better. I tell people all the time, like iPhone 1, I don't even know what version of iPhone we're on right now, but whatever version we're on at the time of this recording, I can guarantee one thing. The iPhone 1 sucked. The iPhone 1 was a piece of trash. And I don't care if Apple's listening, like whoever knows it or had one, you could probably validate. It probably wasn't very fast. It didn't hold a lot of memory. Like, and how long was the iPhone 1 out on the market? How long is any iPhone out on the market? I
What,
guarantee it was less
6 months maybe?
maybe when you count like the actual delivery, but it was definitely less than 18 months. So I think as entrepreneurs, we kind of got to get out of this mindset that one, everything needs to be perfect. And number two, even if it's not perfect, whatever you put out into the world, that has to be the thing that is there forever. No, it doesn't. Like, I mean, you mentioned in the beginning, Dom, like, hey, we're going to be immortal now, which is true. Like, it's the internet. You can't delete it once you put it out. But who cares? Like, it's out there. And Dom, you're in library science. Like, how many books do you see that's like first edition, second edition, third edition, revised edition, adding stuff to it? So even if it's like another better version of the original thing, it doesn't have to be that same thing. So don't get so hung up on creating like iPhone 10 when you haven't even like made like the first, the iPod Shuffle, you know what I mean, or the iPhone. Like you gotta start basic, and so that's the biggest thing.
Solid advice, man. And what I loved about it was the fact that you basically was disciplined enough and you were straight focused on getting it done. Because you mentioned it was a Friday evening and then you worked like crazy with a Mountain Dew on the on the desk until like 3 a.m. Then sent it
Yep.
out the following day, which is awesome. Because a lot of folks, what I've noticed sometimes that folks get hung up on certain days. It's like, yeah, Tuesdays are the best days to upload a podcast episode or something. And at the same time, it's like, I mean, even though it may be true from a statistical standpoint, it's like at the end of the day, it's like you still got to get it out there,
You
no
still got to
matter.
get out. You got to get out. And here's the thing: nobody like. You're right. It could be Tuesdays. Probably statistically are the best days to email. Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. But that doesn't mean like people aren't going to buy on a Saturday. People aren't going to buy Sunday morning. Look at Beyonce. Now, not to say that you should like compare yourself to other people or celebrities, but Beyonce don't care what you got going on. You're like she will drop an album by surprise. Like she will drop it on like a Saturday morning at like 6 a.m. She don't care what you got planned that day. Like life is canceled. Go buy lemonade. Like it is a wrap. And people would do it. Why? Because they're hungry for that content, and people are hungry for your content too. So
That's right. They're hungry indeed, baby. That's right. And then when you get to that stage, you can tell everybody you just woke up flawless. That's right. Even though,
that's
even though it ain't true, just wake up and be like, I woke up like this. That's right.
right.
That's right. Flannel on the bad makeup and all. That's right.
Swinging
Yes.
baseball bats and whatnot. True that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, speaking of products, you got a brand new one out, the Speak Up book with, I believe, was it 37 or was it 32 other collaborating authors?
32 total, myself included. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, what led to you just given the opportunity for basically 31 other folks to be named alongside both you, Les Brown, and the great Dr. George Frazier?
Yeah. So for us, Black Speakers Network, our entire focus is equip, connect, and inspire. And so throughout the year, we're constantly creating platforms where we could continue to educate our members and potential members around speaking space. So, that's webinars, that's live events, that's product and resources. And so, one of the things that I noticed right away in the speaking industry is that, there's a lot of stuff out there in the internet marketing world, and it kind of sets in pockets. Like there's some people that are amazing at publishing. There's some people that are amazing at, social media marketing, public relations, getting on radio, getting on TV. And it's just all these programs are just kind of sitting in their own silo. And so what we wanted to do at Black Speakers Network is to, number one, kind of pull together the community of creators that are responsible for creating that content so that you have a one-stop shop. When you join us, we get you connected to what we call our platform partner program. So those are individuals who are experts in the services you need to grow your speaking business. So, some of the first things you need from a marketing perspective are maybe, well, not even marketing perspective, but just in general is, a professional bio, a speaker one sheet or electronic press kit. You may need a speaker video reel. You may need a website. You may need a variety of different things. And so our goal is to kind of bring that together. And so we not just work with these entrepreneurs that are platform partners, but we also partner with them from a content perspective too. So a great example of that is my good friend Marshall Fox at 120 Design Studios, who also did the book cover for Speak Up. And he focuses on creating really high quality digital and physical collateral for speakers, authors, coaches, entrepreneurs. And his company is also partially owned by Eric Thomas. So he exclusively works with some of the top speakers in the world. And having an opportunity to work with somebody like Marshall, where he can not only help serve our speakers by making sure that their brand is well represented in the marketplace through websites, through book cover designs, through social media, graphics, flyers, t-shirt designs, etc. But we also, work with him when we are producing content. So I'm not teaching that particular skill set. He is, because he's the expert. And so, throughout 2018, we were hosting webinars, very consistently on a variety of different topics. And so the 32 authors in this book are really all the people that we already had partnerships with from a thought leadership perspective, that were either platform partners or we were already engaging them in some capacity. But most of them are either already current BSN Silver members, which we'll talk about what that means in a moment, but they're either already BSN members or were partners that have hosted content for us in the past. And so when the call went out for the book, and I say call, but it wasn't even like a true call. Like I didn't even open it up to the public. I just said, hey, here are the 32 people we've been rocking with. They know their stuff. They're already part of the program. So let's go ahead and get this book done. And that's kind of how it came about. From a content perspective, we have this model in Black Speakers Network called the 5 M's, which is the 5 fundamental areas that we believe every speaker needs to leverage to grow their speaking business. And so for us, that's, helping speakers get clarity on their mission, their message, their marketing, how to monetize, and the management of their speaking business. And so the book is organized into those 5 fundamental sections, and each of the authors have a chapter under one of those headers.
Oh yeah, baby, the 5 M's, baby. All the M&Ms and M's.
Yes. I just found out the day that they had M&M the caramel. I saw the caramel. I was like, man, that's good. So I'm gonna be partaking in those in the short and not too distant future. But yes, M&Ms, all the M's, and to us it's a simple thing, because my thing is, hey, let's bring some structure to it. My background, as I mentioned, I was in corporate for a little bit. I did 2 years as a training specialist. We built content. I actually went back to school to study instructional design and adult learning. So to me, things have to make sense. Like I need to be able to have like a framework where I can understand what I'm trying to learn, like a curriculum in school. Like you don't just go to school and just start taking random classes. Everything is structured into a curriculum. And so that's where my mind naturally goes. And so my goal is for every speaker that we work with to have a really simple, easy framework where they can, number one, kind of self-identify where they are in their speaking businesses and what areas they need to develop. Some speakers don't like that. Some people want like the magic bullet, if you will, or the poison pill, or pick whatever spy movie, action movie analogy you want to do. But they come in and they're like, man, just tell me how to get booked to speak. And I'm like, well, yeah, you want to get paid to speak. I got that, but how's your content? Like, who's your target market? Well, I just help women. Like, okay, well, what do you help them do? Be better. And I'm like, okay, well, let's clarify, your target audience. Let's figure out exactly what problem you're solving for that audience. And then we can, once you have the mission kind of nailed down, then you can craft a message that is going to help solve the needs for that audience. And then once you have the mission and the message, then you can move on to marketing, which is creating information, resources, and creating a pull that, so when somebody hits your website or somebody sees you and you're talking on a podcast like this, you're not just talking to be talking, but you're intentionally using words and phrases. April Beverly, one of our new platform partners, she's a $1 million copywriter, teaches this, how to create the words that are going to attract the audience that you're called to serve. And so, that's an entire skill set. And then marketing, and then monetize. So we're talking about, okay, speaking is great, and everybody wants to get the phone call that is a $5,000, $10,000 speaking engagement where they fly you out, hotel room, wine and dine you, show up, you don't have to do anything, do your speech, speak for 60 minutes, they put a check in your pocket, and they send you home. Like, everybody wants that. But the reality is that's not that idea of professional speaking is one way to get paid, but it doesn't reflect the current reality of the professional speaking industry, which is and we can get all into that, but essentially there are many ways to make money, and in many ways that you have to make money if you're going to do this full time outside of just being paid to speak for your time that you're on that stage. So we're talking about what you're talking about, Dom, which is becoming an author, creating digital products, creating membership sites, creating additional streams of revenue in order to sustain your growth over the long term. And then finally, management focuses on, hey, let's make sure that you're actually running this like a business. So yeah, we're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about getting you set up as an LLC. We're going to talk about speaker contracts. We're going to talk about all of those things that get you set up and legitimized as a business, so that you are not just, replacing your current job, if that's something you desire to do, with another job, but you're actually growing a sustainable asset in the form of a business. So that's kind of how we lay it out, man.
Oh yeah, my man's the Grand Master, baby. That's what I'm talking about. My man got all these different masters with their dojos, and we got the head dojo master learning from all the other masters. That's what I'm talking about. Yes,
I like
indeed. My man's gonna have 20 stripes on the black belt, baby.
it.
Puns all intended.
Hey, I feel like I'm still a white belt. I mean, when you look around in the marketplace, for us, I feel like we're just getting started, man. We're just getting started. So feel like maybe, you know, maybe green belt, something like that. But yeah,
Hey, I
still
don't
on the
blame you.
journey, man.
I don't blame you, man. That's the mentality to have, man. Because it's like, at the end of the day, we all are still learning, and nobody can master everything, because you'd basically be, as they say, I guess, jack of all trades and master none, right?
100%.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, speaking of membership, you mentioned the BSN Silver membership as part of your membership site. And funny enough, this is only the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, BSN Silver is an amazing program. We have about 400 members at the time of this podcast, continues to grow month over month. I kind of consider, like, what I would love to be, I don't know if we gotta bleep this out or whatever, but I would love to be like the Netflix almost of the speaking industry from the perspective of not content per se, because I mean, but you get Netflix and you're like, hey, there's a low cost solution to Netflix is solving the problem, which is like, affordable access to entertainment, wherever you are. And so I think, we want to be the same thing with being able to develop yourself as a speaker, wherever you are, you could download content, watch it on your phone, get educated, get trained, get access to tools that are going to help you grow at an affordable cost. And so BSN Silver is $15 per month, monthly subscription. If you want to come in as an annual member, normally that'll be $180. But if anyone's interested in becoming an annual member, I can actually get you a discount code to knock a couple months off free just for that, just for listening to this podcast. So if you email me, I'll be happy to do that. But basically, man, BSN Silver is meant for people who are actively building their speaking business. And, we send out speaker opportunity alerts. And so those get delivered directly to your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We give our members access to our entire library of training that we've done so far, as well as ongoing access to any additional trainings. They get a private Facebook group. They can go in and ask questions and engage with their community. They get free attendance to any of our events that are taking place nationwide. So there's there's like 10 different benefits, man. But the main thing is, it's meant to be a low investment risk. So nobody has to worry about, BSN is trying to, it's not $1,500, not $2,500, it's $15 a month. So, I mean, if you can't invest $15 a month to grow as a speaker, then probably it either means that you already are experiencing the level of success that you want, or you're really not serious about it yet, which both are fine. So definitely not trying to get everybody as a member. Only really want to work with those speakers who are at a point in their speaking journey where they're like, yeah, tired of trying to do it by myself. Love to plug into a broader community, get some help, get some tools, get some resources, and really accelerate their journey to success. So that's what we're all about, man.
Amen to that. And you're right about those emails, man. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, always get an email in with at least 5+ different speaking gigs and engagements that you could possibly sign up for. And they show up fast and they can disappear fast too, which is an amazing thing, man. It's like, wow, you got to be like ready on your P's and Q's and your T's. Heck, even
Yep.
iced tea.
I just saw Ice-T at an event last year, and I was like, man, he's still doing stuff like New York Undercover. Isn't New York Undercover? Not New York Undercover. What is it? Law and Order. Yeah, Law and Order. He's 20 years. I think he's been on that show. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was 20 years.
It's something like that. It's a long. Like he's been hanging for a long. I think he's credited as like one of the longest running actors of color that's been doing stuff. Yeah, on a syndicated television drama. You know how their categories get off precise or whatever. He told it to us, but yeah, he's been out here for a minute. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited about Speak Up the book. We are in the process of doing a book tour, and so depending on the time in which you're listening to this, well, regardless, you can go to speakupthebook.com, www.speakupthebook.com, and either check out one of our upcoming tour stops or purchase a copy of the book and get more information and details on that. And as far as BSN is concerned, folks can certainly at any time go directly to blackspeakersnetwork.com. Follow us on Instagram at Black Speakers Network. We're always daily, we're sending out not just updates around our members and what we're doing, but we're sharing tips, tools, and techniques on how to grow your speaking business as well. Conversation starters. We're just trying to put things out into the community that people can, use to either, like I said, equip, connect, or inspire. And I think the inspire piece is good because honestly, that's the reason. A lot of people say, well, why are you doing Black Speakers Network? Why don't you just do, Global Speakers Network or whatever? And I'm like, well, you know, number one, we're open to everybody. So if you're a non-Black person listening to this uh, podcast and you're like, man, I would love to do that, but I'm not Black, don't worry about it. I'm a member. I'm actually a lifetime member of the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. I'm not Hispanic nor an engineer, so it's cool. Like, don't worry, don't overthink it. Just sign up, you'll be fine. We have plenty of members from all demographics, but the charter is to grow our number of Black speakers in the space. But anybody that raised their hand, they're like, yeah, I want to be a speaker. Obviously, we're going to work with you. So super excited to connect with you, and if I can help out any way, just let me know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I believe Jeff Davis, he's a part of the Black Speakers Network, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's a silver member, but he's definitely been a strong supporter of the community, and he's definitely a bronze member, um, as well as many other um folks from. It's so interesting. Toastmasters is another one of those communities, and that's really what I feel like has been the connection point, certainly with me and you, Dom, and just many people around the globe. And so, always excited to be able to have an organization now like Black Speakers Network where we can effectively continue to help speakers just to get better, man. And as I go around the country and hopefully soon around the world, and to continue this message and let more people know about what we're doing, be able to continue to do that in those markets. But Jeff is living his best life internationally. I think he's in like Amsterdam or something like that. So looking forward to getting out there and joining him, man. But just like you, he's been a great advocate for us.
That's right. So just because it's black, just put on a black suit, you'll be fine. Black Speakers Network, baby. That's right.
100%.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My man's going places, baby. Going places, literally all over the world, baby. Nobody's safe, baby. Have your combination lock, your padlock. Nobody's safe. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, any other big plans on the horizon? Is there going to be like a BSNU one of these days, kind of like how Greg Cardone and John Maxwell, their certification programs and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk a little bit about. So we have a few things on the horizon, but here's the thing. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, I'm not excited about trying to pull a trigger on too many things. Last year was all about solidifying the silver member program, which we still are. We're still making sure that that program is delivering the value that we promise the people, that it's, think we can add things to it, which we're still doing. So like recently, we just added a BSN bookstore as well as a BSN podcast directory. And so anybody that has a podcast or a book as part of your membership, you automatically get an opportunity to list one of those books in your podcast in the directory for free. So we just rolled that out from a silver member perspective, continuing to grow that. 2018 was really focused on solidifying the silver member program, the platform partner program, and getting the book out. This year, we're in April right now, so really focused on continuing to promote the book, as well as a few other initiatives that are on the horizon. We have a signature course that will be focused around the 5 M's, and that'll be done in May. Had an opportunity to work. We've been really working on that since I think October, in partnership with Dupe Alaru out of Los Angeles, California, who's also one of the co-authors of the book, and she's an expert in curriculum construction. Are looking to be in Connecticut the first week of May, uh, Bridgeport, Connecticut area the first week of May. I believe that's May 2nd. We're going to be in Detroit on May the 10th. Detroit, Michigan, out there with Pam Perry. Rakita Johnson is New Jersey. Excuse me, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Then that following week, We're super close to getting New Jersey finalized, but again, just check the website for that specific date. But planning to be in New Jersey in mid-May, May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. We'll be at the BYOB conference, the Build Your Own Brand conference down in Atlanta, Georgia. And super excited about that. We'll be there with the likes of Dominique Broadway, um, Danielle Leslie, um, Tanya Rapley, and um, the president of the um, National Black Chamber of Commerce. And so we will be slinging books down there, signing up members. We're doing a BSN reception that evening. So if you're in the Atlanta area, you're planning to attend that conference, we'd love to connect with you down there. The following week, June 1st, will be Los Angeles, California for the West Coast BSN book launch event, Embassy Suites, LA, June 1st, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Super excited about that. And then just rolling from there, man. From PNC conference in Houston, dates for that. I don't have them right in front of me now, but I think that's that last week in June. But yeah, man, we're just rolling, hitting cities, changing lives, and so that's what's next. And there are a few things that you mentioned the university model and stuff like that. So some of that I think we'll do in pockets, but I'm not a big fan of kind of taking uh, you know, I see what other people are doing and it's great, but I'm really just going to continue to listen to, what our members need and what can help them get to success most quickly. And if that's, kind of a university model, we'll do that. That might be like rapid learning tools via like apps and things of that nature. I'm very open to those things, but right now it's just continue to grow and add values to our members.
Woohoo! All the value indeed, baby. All the value indeed. Well, we will be sure to put all that wonderful good stuff in the show notes where they can get all the information about BSN and where they can snag 50 copies each of the Speak Up book for those aspiring speakers and heck, even speakers that need to sharpen their swords. Indeed. So that way they can know what's going on. Taking the world by storm, baby.
Yes, sir.
That's
And
right.
Dom, I gotta say, man, I appreciate you. Keep doing this. Keep providing these platforms. Not only, I mean, I know we've had a number of BSN speakers that participate on this podcast and to share their thought leadership. So just wanted to say how much it's appreciated, and I definitely am excited to continue to go on this journey and build with you, man.
That's right, baby. All the bricks in the world, baby. All the bricks. And the beautiful part is, it ain't even everybody yet.
0.001%.
Literally. There's somebody in the corner somewhere like, hey, man, I got this book, man. I'm trying to get out there, but I'm still in my turtle shell and I don't know what the heck to do. Like, if I poke my head out, you know what I might poke an arm out to?
Yeah.
Well, alrighty. Any parting words for our wonderful listeners?
Yeah, man. I think the biggest thing is, like you said, the name of the book is Speak Up, the Ultimate Guide to Dominate in the Speaking Industry. And the reason that the title of the book is Speak Up is simply because that's our tagline. Speak up, your audience awaits. And that's our tagline is because I firmly believe that there's an audience that's unique to everyone that is literally waiting for you. And so very proud to have George Fraser and Dr. George Fraser and Les Brown as a part of this book. But even Les Brown and Dr. George Fraser will tell you they not everybody's going to listen to them. Not everybody is their audience. They might be in the audience, but there's somebody waiting for you. There's somebody waiting for your message. And so I guess parting words is, I'll read this quote from Les Brown from the book. He said, "There are people waiting to hear your voice. You have an energy signature when you speak. There are people who are in a dark place right now, but when they hear your voice, they will come out into the light." And so I invite you to come out into the light with us. again, if I myself or BSN could be of any help, feel free to join us, connect with me. And that is the parting message is speak up because your audience does indeed await. So Dom, I appreciate you and I'll see you guys out there.
Hey, 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 how's it going? How's it going? Thanks a bunch for your listening ears, and it's time now because it's here. Book number 2 is finally here. Stay the course. The Elite Performers 7 Keys to Sustainable Success. And you can pre order your ebook copy today by heading over to Amazon.com and pressing that buy now button for only 99 cents. It is a low cost investment in advancing yourself into your greatness. So let's go ahead to Amazon.com, type in Stay the Course. Look for the book with the big fat red letters, Stay the Course, and the compass pointing north. And yours truly, Dominic Brightman, is the author. And I thank you in advance for all that you do. Go out there and dominate.